Hi, friends, family, and fans. Coming to you from IHOP in Boise, Idaho. Uh, Pretty excited to be here. This was the restaurant that I hung out at probably the most in Saudi Arabia when I lived there um, last year and earlier this year. And so it's June 23rd, about 5:30, and just enjoying my tour across the country from California to the Oregon coast to the high desert of Central Oregon and now over to Idaho, and maybe after this to some other places. Um, but today I want to talk to you about my experience working at the International Aviation Technical College at Riyadh of course, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Um, so it was a really powerful experience for me. Before that, I had worked for 3.5 years teaching kids in South Korea, and then for another 3.5 years teaching the university level in China while I was getting my master's degree. And so uh, the when I taught in Asia, it's really driven by Confucian philosophy and and obviously and of course a radically different history from Saudi Arabia and from the Middle East. And so one of the things I do when I go to work for a college uh, or English teaching company is try to research the culture and language and the history of um, the people group that I'll be teaching and of that region. And so I tried to do a similar thing for when I went to teach at IATC in Riyadh, and um, and so uh, it was a powerful experience for me um, because Saudi Arabian culture and Middle Eastern culture is just very different from Asia, and um, and but it was an experience I'm really grateful for, um, and because it like it's one thing to read about Saudi Arabian culture or to read about people's experiences teaching or learning at IATC, but it's another thing to experience it. And um, so uh, one of the things that I learned there was just how to be even more professional. Uh, the culture in China is pretty laid back, and so I had a lot of autonomy to design my own courses and to teach what and how I thought I should teach. And of course, that was at the university level. Um, but teaching at IATC, what I learned is that I needed to up my game professionally, and and I needed to help students acquire um, English for a specific purpose and aviation English. And so teaching at IATC was a powerful opportunity. I know I've said that several times, it's a bit redundant, but it was an intense and good experience for me to learn how to teach aviation English, to improve my English teaching game. Uh, One of the interesting things is that there was a sort of emphasis at IATC to teach um, uh, British English and sometimes American English, but mostly British English. And um, and so, as an American, learning that British English side, and then teaching that to my adult male students was an amazing opportunity. And so, unfortunately, I was let go from that position, and even though that was difficult for me, I totally understood like why they did it, and um, but just like having looked back on it now, I'm just so grateful for that opportunity, even though I know that it wasn't easy for them to make that choice. And but I really enjoyed my time there, and I learned a ton from the training there that I got. They had really good training. They had excellent teachers there, and trainers and assessors, and my bosses personally were very understanding and accommodating and very good communicators, and I'm so grateful to them for that. Um, and so, besides what I've mentioned, there were a lot of uh, great things that I learned pedagogically about motivating students, and especially about motivating students and working with students in the Middle East, because as I mentioned, uh, them being much different from teaching in Asia, but also like very willing to learn and to work hard. And so that was really good. And but but as far as like my experience overall, I really loved Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. Um, it's desert, of course, but I bought a bike while I was there, and I explored that region and walked a lot, in my off time around IATC. And so I really loved the country, and Riyadh. I learned a lot about uh, Islamic culture, and and the religion and the people, um, and the respect that they have for one another, was um, it really made an impact on me. And at IATC, um, I loved the company. Um, I loved the people that I worked with there. Um, and even though I got let go, I, like I mean, and the reasons for that being just I wasn't a good fit. They weren't a fit for me. I wasn't a fit for them. But I learned a lot, and there's no question that it advanced my English teaching career at the tertiary level. And I don't regret the experience at all. I'm so glad that that I got to work with them and the students there for the time that I did, and um, no doubt in my mind that if and when I decide to go teach in the Middle East again, whether that's Saudi Arabia or Oman or wherever that might be, um, my experience at IATC certainly set me up for future success in English teaching, and gave me a lot to think about. So basically, that was my experience teaching in Riyadh and IATC, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it for anybody else who comes along and is thinking about teaching in the Middle East. Definitely look them up, and um, and I was treated fairly, and like I said, I learned quite a bit. So, anyways, friends, family, and fans, I hope that you're having a great day. Again, coming to you from Boise, Idaho. Um, where are you guys at? Uh, and what have you learned from your experiences with people that you've worked with? Um, so, hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.